Hey there, this video is part of a full online course right here on YouTube called Tofu Mastery. So I highly recommend starting from the very first lesson, which you can find here. Otherwise, let's get to it. So you've chosen your tofu, you've determined that it is within the pressing group, and you're ready to press your tofu. How exactly do you do that? Well, there are these extremely helpful contraptions called Tofu Presses, which are not that expensive that you can get, and it does all of the work for you, or you can kind of assemble your own. I'm going to teach you what I like to do for both of those. So I'm going to show you the difference. This is a pressing kind of tofu that I have here straight out of the package, and I have the same exact brand, the same exact kind in here. To release it from the tofu press, I'm going to release these latches and the rubber bands, and I'm going to show you just the difference in size after you've pressed it. So this has a little basket inside where you put your tofu in, and you're going to see all of the water that has been released from the tofu. Take a look at the difference in size. So we've gone from a very spongy tofu that has a lot of liquid in it to a much firmer and compact one, but where there are still spaces for long marinades to seep in and for this baby to get a lot of flavor. The texture is going to be different than the no pressing group. This is going to kind of be, I don't know, it has a bit of a chewier texture when the other is much firmer. Now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna just get rid of this liquid, and I'm gonna show you how we press using a tofu press. So we've got our base container here. I'm gonna add my basket. I'm gonna add the tofu that I haven't pressed yet and add my lid. And now we have to use the rubber band and choose which level of pressing we like. There is a first level and kind of middle way level and an really press level, which is the third and lowest one. I like to go all out when I'm pressing, so I usually use the bottom kind of level. You have to experiment and see what you like. Now, it takes a bit of strength to do this, and what I often find helpful is to do this at the edge of my countertop so that I can really pull that rubber band down. You can find many tofu presses online. It's a very simple contraption, so most of them work pretty well, but I'll be linking to my favorite below in case you want to choose the same one. For how long are we going to press this tofu? A minimum, always, of 30 minutes, but 2 hours is the magic number in my opinion, and 2 hours would be sort of the same as if you would do it overnight. So if you just want to do it the day before and leave it in the fridge, we're always going to be pressing inside the fridge. You can just let it press overnight. You're going to get a similar result to 2 hours because there's a certain point in which it just won't press down anymore because it's reached the level that it's reached. So 2 hours is my magic number. Overnight, if it's easier for you, 30 minutes minimum. So what if you don't have a tofu press, or you don't want to get one right now, or it's on its way to you, but you want to press some tofu right away? Well, there is a DIY method, and what you do is you grab a bowl where the water is going to be collected in the bottom. You grab a fine colander, and you add your tofu inside the colander. So what are we going to add in terms of weight if we're using the DIY method? I like to add a flat surface right in contact with that tofu, something like a plate, and then on top you can pile up on anything that's heavy. Some people use books. You can use a heavy kettle filled with water, anything at all that will add some weight. Now, it will never give you the exact same result as a tofu press because that tofu press really has that equal weight falling on top the entire surface of the tofu, and you won't get that as perfect with the DIY method, but it also works. Thank you so much for watching. In our next video, I'll be teaching you the coolest trick, how freezing tofu is a technique all on its own. It creates a change in texture that is very unique.